Well, greetings. I'm going to try and go live. I have no idea if the sound is working or not. We'll find out in a moment. Okay, so is the sound working?
Okay, so is the sound working?
Yay.
Okay, so
we have sound. I'll be darned. But we have no audience. I think I'll just like hang out and let the idiots know I'm live. Where's my share thing? Where's my share thing? Well, let's share to Reddit. Oh, what the fuck is going on here? I guess I can't share it to Reddit that easy. Nobody here yet. Can't share it to Twitter. Can't share it to Facebook when I'm I don't have accounts in any of these other places. Oh well, we'll just take the link and lay it in at shit. I just opened it up again. Let's just copy the link. And throw it in the Kiwi Farms chatter. Looks like there's some real, I don't see anybody that isn't an idiot in this chatter. I don't know if I want to put it there. I see Dave's freaking out on me as usual. 1, 2. Free. Where did I already see that shit? Keep hammering them keyboards, kids. Mr. Tom's attempt to irritate us again is another Tom failure. This is how unirritated it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines of just raging lunacy. I can't even read it. We have one person here. Hello, whoever you are. I'm going to eventually get around to reading an article entitled Senator Rand Paul Misunderstands Transgender Medicine. Here's the truth. So while we're waiting for people to show up, here, I'll read the first paragraph for anybody who's already here. One person. Now there's nobody. Anyway. 10 lines, 20 lines of text for everyone to be a fucking lunatic. You know, it's incredible how like ethical values, moral standards have gotten inverted in our society. What people hold to be valuable and important. They've already they've already got this stream up at A and B. So anyway, they're busy insulting me over there. So I just told them to enjoy their place, their cathedral of hatred on the wrong side of history. So anyway, let's get on topic since there's actually two people here. Say hello, please. You can call in even. I'd rather let the phone charge. It's the only reason I'm here. There's a demonstration to save the park going on that I wanted to be at by now. Or at least wanted to be out the door like 15 minutes ago. You can call in if you like. Anyway, we're going to talk about transgender medicine and how access to hormones and puberty blockers and surgical procedures has made life livable for many transgender people. Hormones have totally changed my life, and I haven't done a whole lot to feminize me because, like, this is me. This has always been me. I always had boobs. I always had real smooth skin. Before before I got to be 66 years old and testosterone tore up my face, I had a hard time passing for male when I was young. Guys would always be hitting on me. It's terrible because I don't even want to talk about my sexuality because that's just all fucked up because it's like my brain and my penis don't work together properly. And it's, there's people going, oh, you're not intersex. Well, they don't even know what intersex is. And intersex is, so far there's 39 different intersex body variations that they've described. I have no idea what was going on with me. I can only, suppose. When a child is born, their genitalia are not completely developed. They're not even close to completely developed, and they're not really, might not be completely differentiated because of chemical conditions in utero. I have no idea what was down there. I'm supposing that internal testicles were dropped. I know that the surgery led to damage to the nerves down there, and has resulted in a lifetime of like physical and behavioral health deficiencies, let's call it. Dysfunction in some cases. Really bad allergies. Bad enough that people think it's COPD. Anyway, that cup needs a little washing. I washed it a few days ago. It's getting a little crusty. Anyway, if I had had access to puberty blockers and hormones and everything when I was young, I don't know whether I would have carried out going all the way to the surgery. I'm seeing transgender couples. Corey Mason has got herself hooked up with a transgender guy, and they're posting porn on OnlyFans. I don't know how my life would have turned out. I made some choices along the way that I feel like I avoided a lot of shit. I have a visitor. I have a hard time with it. I don't even have any garbage in the house. Okay. But I have 11 cats next door and 3 dogs in the backyard. Hi. Anyway, we're finding, and this article talks, it's pretty, it's a pretty short story here, but they're finding that transgender kids who have access to pediatric transgender care and in what do you call it, therapeutic setting, there's a lot of work that goes into raising a transgender kid that the parents and the doctors are doing. Lots of work. And then you have people like Debbie Jackson who are taking that work one step further and doing all this political advocacy work, and just battling ignorance everywhere at high levels of the government. Anyway, they're finding that these kids are testing out on a par or superior to their classmates across the board in academic and behavioral health parameters. And the most important thing is that the self-harm goes down. The puberty blockers are lifesavers. There's kids that are killing themselves over going into puberty and becoming what they feared to become and not what they dreamed to be. Our brains are not wired properly to our gonads, and that's just the way it is. There's all this conjecture about, well, if somebody self-identifies, man. If you leave where to go with this? Let's just read the article. I get to rambling. So Senator Rand Paul misunderstands transgender medicine. Here's the truth. This is by Say Shantanand Rajagopal and Hena Handal. In a tense exchange on Thursday, during the Senate confirmation hearing of Dr. Rachel Levine, President Biden's nominee for Assistant Secretary of Health, Senator Rand Paul exposed his lack of understanding about, or perhaps prejudice against, transgender youth. After misrepresenting transgender health care as genital mutilation, Paul, a Republican from Kentucky, an ophthalmologist, and this is interesting, he's a self-accredited ophthalmologist. I'll get into that after we finish this. Asked Levine, an openly transgender pediatrician, whether minors should be able to request hormone therapy and gender-affirming surgery. You're willing to let a minor take things that prevent their puberty, and you think they get that back, Paul said? You give a woman testosterone enough that she grows a beard, you think she's going back to looking like a woman when you stop the testosterone? You have permanently changed them. Paul's line of questioning reflects a wider set of misconceptions around transgender medicine, namely that there is an epidemic of youth hastily undergoing sex changes that they later come to regret. This is another interesting point that the community pointed out on that wasn't readily apparent at the hearing. Paul was pulling from the American College of Pediatricians, which is like a bunch of seriously biased religious fanatics. Levine aptly responded twice too. He lost his shit the second time she did it. Levine aptly responded that transgender medicine has robust research and standards of care, peer-reviewed standards of care designed to prevent Paul's doomsday scenario. In fact, puberty blockers, along with hormone therapy and gender-affirming surgery, are medically effective in treating gender dysphoria in youth without generating a long-term desire for reversals. Here's how the multi-stage standards of care work for a young person who enters a clinic for gender-affirming care. And I've looked at the statistics on this. The satisfaction rates for hormones is like near 100. And the satisfaction rates for the surgeries are in the high 90s, middle to high 90s. The much less invasive cosmetic surgeries, the satisfaction rates are usually in the low to mid 80s. The standards of care are in place and have been in place for a long while, to prevent people who do not actually have a medical necessity to modify their genitals from getting the surgery. This is why Jay Price, he'll never get surgery. They won't give it to him. He's too nuts. So here's how the multi-stage standards of care work for a young person who enters a clinic for gender-affirming care. Youths do not make their own gender-affirming decisions ad hoc, as Paul claims, after reading on the internet about something about transsexuals. They just don't do that. You have to get to it. You got to go to a doctor, and you got to go through several doctors. Before a doctor prescribes some kind of physical intervention, standards of care established by the World Professional Association for Transgender Health require a gender-questioning youth to undergo comprehensive psychological evaluation and counseling. Typically, an entire team of psychological evaluators, pediatricians, and endocrinologists weigh in to determine if the youth has persistent, well-documented gender dysphoria before proceeding with any treatments. This initial assessment and affirmation phase is protracted, so much so that some youths initiate the process of socially transitioning, whereby they begin presenting in society as their correct gender with new pronouns, clothing, and the like. Contrary to Paul's implication, youths don't rashly advance to the physical transition stage, and neither do adults. And there are some of the same kinds of roadblocks, of speed bumps in the road for adults. And it took me several years before they start the hormones, because I had to present as female and demonstrate that I really needed to do that. And it wasn't really so hard once we got the right psychologist into the game. If medical experts do recommend physical treatment, patients have the option to begin taking puberty blockers, which constitute a safe and reversible approach to halting puberty. These drugs suppress the release of sex hormones, including testosterone and estrogen, during puberty, putting puberty on by halting the onset of secondary. That's putting puberty on hold by halting the onset of secondary sex characteristics such as breast development and voice deepening. This pause provides another extended reflection period to assess if gender dysphoria is persistent and requires further intervention. Puberty blockers are fully reversible, cause few side effects, and have an overtly positive impact. They significantly reduce suicidal thoughts among transgender youth. The potential long-term side effects, infertility and bone density issues, are monitored by physicians through regular checkups. Contrary to Paul's sensationalized assessment, puberty blockers for youth only present well-studied, monitorable side effects. Pausing puberty is effective. Most youths who receive gender-affirming care choose to further their physical treatment and do not opt to restart natural puberty, thereby circumventing some surgeries that would alter their post-pubescent secondary sex characteristics. According to a large cohort study in the Netherlands, only 1.9% of transgender adolescents who finished their courses of puberty blockers withdrew from the next typical step of physical transition, hormone therapy. The standards of care require hormone therapy for at least one continuous year before doctors perform top, breast removal, construction, and bottom, vaginoplasty or phalloplasty surgeries. Although WPATH recommends gender-affirming surgery only after a youth reaches the age of majority or consent, a growing body of evidence indicates that early gender confirmation enables patients to better acclimate into the next significant stage of life, such as college or the workforce. Let that sink in. I'm trying to post it against what I'm watching on among the the transgender youth that are posting at YouTube and Instagram. A lot of them are pursuing careers in the arts. The most visible ones are mainly pursuing careers in modeling or music. Among the ones I'm watching and have been watching for a while. Some of them they're doing porn at OnlyFans now. More power to them. Some of them, Corey Mason's charging a lot of money. Most of them are only charging like $10, $15 a month, but Corey wants like $50 a month, and people are actually paying it. I guess I don't know. There's a video out there of her getting pegged with a dildo by her transgender male partner. I haven't seen it. It's hard to download. It won't download for me. Okay? So I haven't seen it. I've just seen the frame. I was like, okay. Anyway, moving right along. Paul's primary argument, which centers around regretting gender transition, references dozens and dozens of people who've been through this gender-affirming surgery who regret that this happened and permanent change happened to them. Empirical studies, however, show this isn't a widespread phenomenon. In a 2015 national survey of nearly 28,000 transgender people in the US, only 8% of the patients had detransitioned, and of that 8%, 2/3 had only detransitioned temporarily. Most important, only 0.4% of those surveys said they detransitioned because gender transition was not right for them. Instead, the few who permanently detransitioned most often cited parental and spousal pressure as the reason for doing it. Gender transition regret, as Paul decries, is statistically scarce. Paul's characterization of transgender healthcare for minors, a characterization unfortunately commonplace in political circles, is factually inaccurate, rhetorically dangerous, and medically unsound. Levine's historic confirmation would offer a welcome departure from the deluge of misinformation that some U.S. leaders continue to propagate around gender-affirming care. Anyway, I think that most people, at least this is what the surveys are saying, most people are supportive of transgender equality. The more visible we become, the more people realize that we don't match the stereotypes that they've learned about. You know, our advocates have always been like very witty, gracious, nice people. And that's that. I think it's just time to accept that people who don't want to be a manly man or a womanly woman shouldn't be stigmatized for it, and that their bodies are theirs to do with as they wish. And it's not for anybody else to say what somebody may or may not do. I mean, you folks don't get on, you know, it's how much different is it? You know, let's not go there. Just that, you know, somebody's not happy with what they were born with and they want to modify it, that's between them and their maker. And it's none of anybody else's business, really. And the avatars through the ages, you know, admonished us, tell us not to stand in judgment of otherness, to embrace it and nurture it. And thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Nobody's interacting, and I finished what I was doing. And thanks for watching. Happy day. Bye.